common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Bravo. Let's go to KT McFarland.
Yep, we have Deputy National Security Advisor KT McFarland joining us now. KT, the former Deputy National Security Advisor, big deal today. We were just talking at the top of the show with Judge Weinberg about NATO. Tomorrow, of course, President Biden is going to do supposedly a press conference. We don't know how much he's going to take in terms of questions, who's going to be with him, but the walls are crumbling around the Democrats. How big of a deal is this? Because every world leader I've seen in every single interview is being asked, what do you think of Joe Biden and how important it is to have strong leadership?
Yeah, well, what they say publicly is not what they say privately. What they say privately is, oh, my God, what's going on? And it's particularly important to have a strong American president right now, because if you look at all the NATO members, they've all just got elections. So a lot of those guys are new. They're either the guys who are currently in office are probably likely to be thrown out of office at the next election, and some of them were elected like a week and a half ago. So they don't know what they're doing. They're looking, who's our strong American leader, and then what they're seeing is pretty horrifying. There is no strong American leader, and I'm less concerned with who the candidate is or Biden's political future. I'm really that as our NATO allies look at us and say, God, there's nobody in charge here. Maybe if there's a crisis, we better cut our own deals. And then I'm particularly and most concerned with what they're seeing in Moscow, in Tehran, in Beijing, and Pyongyang. They're looking and saying, this is our moment. America is distracted as it always is during a presidential campaign, but now America is completely leaderless and rudderless. This is when we're going to take advantage of America. This is when we're going to exploit things, and figuring that NATO's not going to make a response, and Washington is definitely not going to make a response.
KT McFarland, too, in the middle of all this, like Iran's new president, who's supposedly a moderate, coming out and saying that he's going to back Hezbollah, all these terror groups, embracing them. Last night I was thinking of where India, the president of India, the prime minister there, was shaking and hugging Putin. I mean, we're seeing all these people sort of aligning, and the U.S. sadly seems to be going to the wayside under this president.
Yeah, people like the Prime Minister of India and others, they don't necessarily want to cozy up with Putin and Xi Jinping. They're thinking that there's no alternative, that there's nobody, the lights aren't out in the White House. There's nobody there at the White House, and there's unlikely to be anybody until January of 2025. And the other thing that is the bad guys are all looking at this and thinking, not only can we take advantage now, but, oh, my gosh, we better take advantage now, because in January, Donald Trump is likely to be the next president. And we know he's pro-Israel. We know he's anti-Iran. He'll reinforce the sanctions. He'll drive the price of oil down to $40 a barrel like it was before. The United States will be energy dominant. That bankrupts Russia. That bankrupts Iran. And China is one of the most energy-needy countries in the world, so it gives us enormous leverage over China. They all got to cut their deal now, because starting in January, the tough guy, the sheriff's back in town.
Hi, it's Lou Dobbs for Priority Gold, America's precious metals dealer. These are volatile times with high inflation, soaring debt, wars on multiple continents, and rising financial stress. Central banks are buying gold to diversify their reserves, so are many Americans. Call Priority Gold and find out how precious metals can help you diversify your portfolio. They're highly rated and happy to help. Call 1-866-303-6357 or get a free gold guide at PriorityGoldGuide.com. That's PriorityGoldGuide.com.
Now, I understand, Moody, 30% of his oil for India comes from Russia?
Russia and Iran. So I think that the strategy that we ought to have with a new administration is to go to the Indians and say, look, we'll guarantee your energy needs. We'll guarantee them at the best price you can, better prices than you're going to get from Russia or Saudi Arabia or Iran, for anybody. We'll guarantee them. But what we want you to do is to stop doing business with them and start doing business with us. I think that's a promise we can make. I think it's a promise the Indians would embrace. But remember, they got to get their energy from somebody. And if they can only get it from Iran, they can only get it from Russia, then they're going to do it. They'll avoid sanctions. They'll evade sanctions because their national interest requires them to import energy.
KT, this is Rudy Washington. What bothers me is a lot of this seems to be so simple, and I believe there's smart people in Washington. I remember seeing the president kick the teeth out of the Prince of Saudi Arabia and beat up all over him. And I'm saying to myself, well, why are you doing this? And then a few months later, you got to go hat in hand and ask them to drive down the price of oil. And now, as quiet as it is, they did not renew the petrodollar agreement. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at this and I'm like, what's the matter with these people in Washington?
They're not that smart. I mean, that's the thing. They're not that smart, and they don't think long term. And they figure, economics, international economics, making a budget, that's not for them. They'll just get Congress to give them more money. They're not that smart, and they don't see ahead, and they don't see the consequences of their actions.
They're worried more about their political party and their political selves than they worry about the United States of America. And that's what I'm angry about.
Well said. It's so bad that the people in power are going around saying, look, it's okay if Joe Biden, if he's got dementia, because we're in charge. He's got really good staff. You can count on us to make the right decisions. These people are clinging by their dirty fingernails to power. And then who cares about the country? They just care about themselves and the power that they've got, that they're loath to give up. It's the utter contempt to the American people. They don't care about the American people. They just care about themselves.
Disgusting. KT, Thank you so much for coming on. And it was nice to see you at Lolly's party Saturday night. And we'll catch up again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Lou Dobbs for Priority Gold, America's precious metals dealer. These are volatile times with high inflation, soaring debt, wars on multiple continents, and rising financial stress. Central banks are buying gold to diversify their reserves, so are many Americans. Call Priority Gold and find out how precious metals can help you diversify your portfolio. They're highly rated and happy to help. Call 1-866-303-6357 or get a free gold guide at PriorityGoldGuide.com. That's PriorityGoldGuide.com.